Hello, you assholes! Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been almost a fucking year since I've graced YouTube with my presence. Yeah, I bet you all thought I died, but I didn't. I'm still fucking here. Everyone is getting fucking cancelled. Everyone's YouTube channel is being deleted, but not mine. Mr. Black Darkness will be forever. That being said, I want to start a new series on my channel, which is about video games. You all know I like video games. I used to stream a lot in the past. I have a bunch of Let's Plays on my channel that people kind of watched. And I just think video games are fun, so I want to fucking talk about them. Okay? Is that a problem? Well, then you can just fuck right off. And we're starting the series off with the video game called Skul, the Hero Slayer. That's why I have all these fucking skulls around me. So let's go to the fucking video game!
So, Skul the Hero Slayer. It was released out of early access in January of this year. It's been developed by Southpaw Games. I haven't seen any other games that they've developed, but it was published by NeoWiz, who also did a bunch of other games that nobody knows about. I've got one game of them in my library, Metal Unit, which is a Metroidvania. I haven't played it much, but it played pretty well and it looked pretty cool. A lot of big-tittied anime girls, so yeah, that's fun. But yeah, Skul. So, you play as Skul, as a little skeleton guy, and, well, the story is that you're in this world. You're basically an evil guy. You work for all the evil creatures in the world, in the game world, and all the good guys, the heroes, as you will, have just taken the Demon King hostage. The Demon King is like the ruler of all the bad guys that you usually come across in like RPGs and shit. And Skul is the only survivor, and he has to save the Demon King from all the bad heroes. Which is a kind of cool premise, because I like evil dudes, and it's fun to play as a bad guy now and then. Instead of the generic hero, you know, that you always get in games. On Steam, Skul is classified as a action roguelike. But I would say it's a roguelite, because in Skul you get this stuff called Dark Quartz, and with this stuff you can upgrade all your abilities and shit at this big-tittied witch lady, which is pretty cool, but doesn't make it a roguelike, because a roguelike, every time, each run you start totally new without any skills and shit, and you have to progress during your playthrough, and if you die, you lose everything. And here if you die, you get sent back to the big-titty witch woman, where you can upgrade all your shit, and you can also release other characters who will give you also upgrades and stuff. Now the main mechanic in Skul is that you can switch your skull, the skull of your Skul hero who's called Skul. And each skull has different abilities and stats, which is pretty cool, and it has a lot of different fighting styles. Like some are really fast, but don't do that much damage. You have really strong skulls, but they're also kind of slow. And then you also have some skulls with ranged attacks, which is pretty cool. I actually came the furthest in this game with the mummy skull, which can shoot. The controls are very fluent, everything works fine. You get a double jump from the start. Fighting is fun, killing all the enemies is fun. And when you start out, it seems there's a lot of enemy variety, but in the end, which is my biggest complaint with this game, every time you start a new run, you always follow the same structure. You always start in the woods, you always fight the same enemies at the start, and then in the end you get to this big tree boss, which you have to defeat to get to the next stage, which is a castle. And in the castle, you have also all the same enemies again, and you have to fight these twin sisters, which unfortunately I didn't get to in this playthrough, but trust me, they're there. But at the start of the game, you're so underpowered, you keep dying and dying, and you have to face that fucking tree monster again and again, that it gets kind of repetitive. Which is a bad thing for a roguelite, because if you compare it to like Binding of Isaac, which is a fantastic game, each run you get different bosses, different areas, you don't know what the hell's coming for you, and in this game it's just every time the same. which drags out a bit and actually kept me from playing at one point because I just got bored with all the same enemies over and over, which kind of sucks because it is a pretty good game. The mechanics in the game are fun and the fighting is fun, and I love the art style, the pixelated shit. I'm a sucker for pixel art. Everything looks really nice and detailed, but yeah, you just get to see that fucking forest over and over and over, and it just gets too boring. And though the music is great, but like I said, if you have to repeat the same stages over and over, you know, at one point I just turned it off and started listening to some podcasts and shit. So, overall, not a bad game. I just wish that they mix it up a little bit. That you didn't start at the same fucking area every time, and you didn't have to face the same bosses over and over. And why not start at the castle at one point? I don't know, maybe because it has to do with the story. But fuck the story, you know? I want interesting gameplay. That's what playing games all about. Playing games, gameplay. It's in the fucking word.
So, that was Skul, the Hero Slayer. Wasn't that fun? Didn't you enjoy my fucking game review? And you guys don't have to worry about my other content that you love so much. I'm not gonna stop making freaky weird 3D animations. I love those shit. But I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit. Now video game review, next time 3D animation. Another time I'm gonna dance naked on a table or whatever. Alright, bye! I'm making this video black!